Hi everyone, welcome back to another Pokemon TCG battle, and today we have a very special battle. On our left we have, I believe, the first girl that I have featured on my channel. Her name is Steph, and she's only been playing the TCG for about a month now, so this is really great to see a girl in action and playing such a great game. And on our right is Kendall, who I believe I featured in a previous video. Anyway, long story short, this past Sunday was another tournament that let me try again. This past Sunday was another tournament that, my league hosted. It was unsanctioned, so there were very non-formal rules. For example, the format was Next Destinies through Furious Fists. That format will never actually happen at a sanctioned tournament. Beginning September 3rd, which is, I believe, tomorrow once this video goes up, the format will be Boundaries Crossed through Furious Fist, and then the alternate format, which will take place on the second day of Regionals, Nationals, and Worlds tournaments, will be Black and White through Furious Fist, or Black and White on, basically, which right now would go through Furious Fist. Anyway, so we have... actually, wait. On our right is Steph, and on our left is Kendall. Yeah, I made a note to myself at the beginning of this video who was on which side, but I think I just realized when I said who was on what side, I was looking at it backwards, so yeah. That is my mistake. That is Steph on right and Kendall on left. But anyway, as you can see, Kendall is playing, well, he started out with a Victini EX and a Litleo. You can barely see it but in the glare, but that is Litleo. And Steph, on the right, started out with a Mewtwo EX, which she just attached an Energy and a Muscle Band to, and then Ultra Balled for a Litleo of her own. So this is basically a Pyroar mirror match. Now, the way Pyroar works is it has an ability. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by your opponent's basic Pokemon. So basically that means you need to have an evolved Pokemon in order to touch Pyroar, or Garbodor to shut off that ability. Now, Pyroar mirror matches are pretty interesting because Pyroar with a Muscle Band and 3 energies can one-shot another Pyroar, and since it's an evolved Pokemon, it can touch it. So it'll be very interesting to see how this game turns out. Anyway, she benched the Litleo there and then played in... Let's see what she got. I guess she was kind of hoping for Tropical Beach there. I know that she plays it in this particular deck, but she didn't get it, so I think she's just going to have to pass. And Kendall draws for his turn. He has a Reshiram, which he plays, but no energy. And that's a whole lot of stuff to Juniper away if he decides to do that. That's just unfortunate. I believe Kendall, I remember now, Kendall played the round deck that I featured a few videos ago. So... And the reason I'm able to get so many videos up so soon is that we just had a tournament, this is barely 2 weeks after the first one. Last week, there wasn't one for one, and then I didn't go to League because it was registration day at college. Super senior! Anyway, he attached the Muscle Band to Reshiram. Very interesting choice. Maybe he's hoping the Mewtwo won't one-shot it so he can use Outrage for a whole lot. Blue Flare is just too costly. Well, not really. I mean, Blue Flare, you need to discard 2 fire energy, but sometimes you just need to put the fire energy in the discard pile, especially with fire decks these days, which have usually Blacksmith. So I ended up Junipering away all that stuff, and that was very unfortunate. That there was so much he had to give up, but, you know, it was for a good cause. He got the energy, he can attach it to Victini, and now he can use Victini's Turbo Energize attack, which will... do no damage to Mewtwo EX, but will allow him to put a fire energy, well, take 2 fire energies out of his deck, and then attach them to his bench Pokemon in any way he likes. If I were him, I would personally put one on each, Litleo and Reshiram, because right now, you don't know who you're going to be attacking with. So, anyway, looks like he will put one on Reshiram and one on Litleo, and now it is Steph's turn. And, fun story, this was the first round and I got the bye, so at this point I'm just sitting at the table and impromptu judging. So making sure that everyone's doing everything correctly, while at the same time just leaving the camera rolling, making sure that it's capturing the action and stuff like that. So, if you see a shadow at the top of your screen, that's my shadow. It's not a ghost or anything, so... Anyway, so right here we're going to see an X-Ball for 80 if Steph wants to do that. She could do that, but it looks like the rest of her hand is pretty much crap because she just X-Balled for 80. Attached and attacked, so that was a very short turn. Anyway, Kendall got a Pyroar, which he immediately evolves into. He's going to retreat into Pyroar, so that Mewtwo cannot touch Pyroar now. He has the double colorless energy in his hand, so he can start using Scorching Fang here if he wants. And he also has Pokemon Catcher. If he flips heads on this catcher, he can just bring up that Litleo. There's heads. Now Litleo comes up. And unfortunately, that's the Litleo with only 60 HP. There's really no advantage to running it. In fact, it's more of a disadvantage. It's almost identical to the other Litleo, except maybe its attack is 1 less energy. But you never want to attack with Litleo. If anything, you want to just leave it... you want to evolve it into Pyroar as soon as possible, and if it has to stay Litleo, you usually want to run the 70 HP Litleo, just because it can survive an attack where otherwise wouldn't. Or, in this case, Kendall would have had to discard a Fire Energy from Pyroar in order to knock out Litleo in 1 hit. Regardless, that was only a 60 HP Litleo, so Steph basically, unfortunately, lost her Litleo there, which means she cannot get a Pyroar into play. She attached a double colorless energy to Mewtwo. I don't think I saw a Pokemon Catcher in hand. She's stuck. She doesn't have anything she can do. She just passes the turn because Mewtwo, even with all that energy on it, even if it could one-shot the Pyroar, and it could, cannot touch it now. Just because of Pyroar's intimidating main ability. Mewtwo's a basic Pokemon, Pyroar cannot be touched. So now, Kendall's faced with an interesting dilemma. Does he Scorching Fang for 60 or for 80? And he decides, you know what, I'm pretty safe. I can just Scorching Fang for 60, lean back, and wait to see what Steph does. And Steph, well, she doesn't have much. She's going to play Professor Juniper. That might have been her top deck. If it wasn't, then I can understand why she would hesitate to use it last turn. Let's see, what did she get? I do not see a basic Pokemon, but she does have roller skates. If she flips heads here, it looks like she did. Okay. That was my hand coming down to put the die back out. It just rolled off the table there. So if a die rolls off the table, it counts as a dead die, meaning you have to reflip it. So she did draw heads there. Not much to really help, though. Really, she just needs a basic Pokemon here, because if that Pyroar gets a Muscle Band on it, then it can use Scorching Fang for 110, which is enough to knock out the Mewtwo EX. So she is in very real danger of just losing the game right here. So she already used a supporter for her turn, so I saw the Lysander. That would have been great to use this turn, but unfortunately, no, it didn't work. So she's going to use Pokemon Catcher, press her luck, but it is heads. So she's going to bring back up that Victini EX. But she really needs a basic. Even if she takes the knockout here, and she will, with an X-Ball, then she really, really needs a basic on her bench so that, you know, Pyroar can't come up, drop a Muscle Band, and knock it out. Now, if you took a careful look at Kendall's hand there, you saw that there was no Muscle Band. So we know that, but she doesn't know that. For all she knows, he could just have it in his hand waiting to put it down for later. So she actually used Computer Search there and got a card. I really hope it was a basic Pokemon. Computer Search is probably the most powerful ace-spec in the game. You discard 2 cards from your hand, that's the drawback. But then you get any card from your deck that you want. Anything. It can be, well, literally anything. So it looks like it was definitely the Litleo that she got. She's already attached... No, she has not. She attached a double colorless energy to Mewtwo last turn. So she attaches one to Litleo now, and then uses Bicycle. It looked like she might have gotten a Professor Juniper off of that. So now she uses X-Ball for, that was probably 100 damage, yep. More than enough to knock out that Victini with 80 already on it, and she got 2 prizes. So now she's actually ahead by a prize. Kendall has only taken one prize from the Litleo, and I apologize that his prizes and her prizes are just barely off screen. But I'm keeping track in my head this time. So he's one prize in and she's two prizes in. So we see the Max Revive putting the Victini back on top of his deck. And he's going to Ultra Ball away two Pokemon catchers. I believe he got another Litleo. Having a nice string of Litleo is nice, because if one Pyroar happens to get knocked out for whatever reason, then you can just get another one into play, which makes it that much harder to knock out Pyroar after Pyroar after Pyroar, especially if you use so many basics, if your opponent uses so many basics. So he played in there. So he's going to get 5 cards, and Steph will get 4. I'm very interested to see what they get off of this. Kendall really needs a Muscle Band here to just knock out this Mewtwo. But then after that, if Steph gets a Muscle Band and a Pyroar and a Fire Energy, well, it looks like she got maybe the Pyroar, but that's it, unfortunately. Then she can just retaliate with her own Scorching Fang for knockout. Now, we do see another Fire Energy here, but no Muscle Band, which means that Mewtwo will be put up to 150 damage, just 20 short of a knockout. That kind of hurts, to be so close to knocking out something like that and then just not getting it. That hurts a lot. Let's see what Steph drew. She did draw the Muscle Band and the Pyroar and a Tropical Beach. Very interesting for her to actually play it there. From the looks of it, she's in a pretty good position to... there's a Pokemon catcher in her hand. Well, I guess she decided to play it just in case the catcher failed. But if I were her, I honestly think I would have maybe waited to see if the catcher failed first. Because if you can't knock out this Pyroar, then it's probably best to... Well, here's my line of thought. Use catcher, see if it works. If it works, attack and take a prize. If it doesn't work, then you drop down Tropical Beach and use it. But she's going to use the catcher now. She was pointing at the Litleo there. But she flipped heads, so just off camera, but that was a heads. She forgot there that catcher received the errata, that you need to flip a coin now in order to use it. Used to be it was just instantaneous, and it was that way for 2 full years. And now you need to flip the coin, and that's why it's not used as much. It's actually seeing a whole lot more use now, particularly in Pyroar decks, so I'm very happy to see that personally. But we are going to see the X-Ball for knockout, and now Steph has 3 prizes and Kendall has 5. So what is Kendall going to do here? What does that Pyroar have on it? He decides to attach a Fire Energy to Reshiram. Look through his discard pile. That Pyroar, I believe it has all the energy on it needed to knock out this Mewtwo. Yep, there's the Fire and a DCE, so... I don't know, he could Scorching Fang here, he could use Tropical Beach, but, you know, getting that Mewtwo out of the way, that's another 2 prizes. That evens up the prize count. Now, he just used Scorching Fang for 60, and now they're suddenly tied, 3 prizes each. And now Steph can hit a Fire Energy or a way to get a Fire Energy onto Pyroar and a Muscle Band, then she's good. And there's the Professor Juniper, so she just needs a Fire Energy and a Muscle Band, or not a Muscle Band. She just needs some Fire Energy, that's it. Did she get a Fire Energy? Yes, she did. I see it in her hand. Several. I see several. So, right here, she's going to knock out this Pyroar and then be in the best of positions ever, because all Kendall has after this is Reshiram, which cannot touch Pyroar at all. Steph is in a very good position. Unfortunately, Kendall can now take advantage of that Tropical Beach, which is a bit unfortunate. That's one downside to playing stadiums. They work for both people. We see a Professor Juniper from Kendall. But right now, I think he's in a bit of a pickle because he still has 3 prizes. Steph has 2. Oh, we see the Pyroar in hand. Then we see double Level Ball. He's not going to put down that Charizard EX because it has a 2 retreat cost. So, even if he were to use it, and there's no reason for him to put it down right now, because The only Pokemon on Steph's side is Pyroar, which Charizard cannot touch. And then she happens to use a Lysander or a Pokemon Catcher and flips heads. That's just a Charizard left in the active position, and he's going to have to find a switching card or pay the 2 retreat cost to get rid of it. It's just best for him not to place it down right now. Oh, well, he's thinking about it, though. Yeah, he's just going to do it. Because it's Charizard. Why not? Why not play with Charizard? He can evolve one of those Litleos he just got with 2 level balls. He can evolve one of them into Pyroar next turn, and then he has an Ultra Ball as well. He's going to play the Ultra Ball. He's going to get rid of Pokemon Catcher and I believe Lysander for another Pyroar. That way next turn he can just double evolve into Pyroar and be good. Now, right here, he really can't do anything, so he's just going to use Tropical Beach and get 5 new cards into his hand to end his turn. Basically because no matter what, he cannot touch his Pyroar, so he'd rather just draw cards instead of pass. And we see a level ball from Steph. There's a Litleo, and she's going to get that. She's going to have to risk a turn of Kendall not having a Lysander or a Pokemon Catcher, because if that Litleo gets brought active, then it's going to need to be powered up as a brand new Pyroar. But sometimes that's the risk you need to take. In the unfortunate event that Kendall gets a Pyroar all powered up and knocks out Steph's Pyroar, then all of a sudden you're looking at a dead game or game over, despite Steph being so close. And there she actually used Scorching Fang for 110. I don't know if I would have done that. I would have just put the 80 on, because no matter what, you're going to knock it out in 2 hits, that Reshiram. And, well, and there's impossible to knock it out in 1 hit. So it's just best to waste as little as possible. You know, she discarded the Fire Energy. She had another one in her hand, but if she didn't, then that would have been really risky. But she's still in a really, really good position, despite Kendall evolving into 2 Pyroars now. Now he has something that can at least attack this active Pyroar on her side, even if it's not powered up yet. And on Kendall's side, it looks like he's actually just going to retreat into Charizard, probably just to take a few hits. Because there's no way to knock out this Charizard in 1 hit. In fact, it'll take 3 to knock it out. No, it'll just take 2 so long as she's Scorching Fangs for 110 each time. She evolved into Pyroar. Now that Pyroar on the bench will replace the current one if it ever gets knocked out, which I doubt will happen, but we're going to see a Roller Skates, and it's a head, so she gets 3 fresh cards, just like that. I see a Bicycle, another Tropical Beach, and a Pokemon Catcher. If I were her, I'd definitely play the Pokemon Catcher, bring up a Pyroar, and just take the knockout before those things become a serious threat. Reshiram isn't that big of a problem. It's actually not a problem at all. It cannot touch her. But no, she's just going to Scorching Fang for 110 again. Interesting. That does give Kendall an opportunity to power up this Pyroar if he could. He will have it powered up by next turn, but by that time it'll be just too late, because she only has 2 prizes. If she takes a knockout on this Charizard, she wins the game. And then no matter how powered up that Pyroar is, it's just too little too late. So he's going to play his Lysander there, bring up the Pyroar without energy on it, and, well, just hope that she doesn't have a Blacksmith and energy. So he doesn't really have much else he could do here. He's already attached for his turn. He's played everything he can. He's probably just going to Tropical Beach. There we go, Tropical Beach. And Steph's turn, I think I see the Blacksmith in the back. Maybe not. She's really considering doing something here. She's still in a really good position. She's ahead on prizes. She has plenty of damage on Kendall's side, and Kendall has not yet powered up that Pyroar to knock out her active Pyroar. Actually, she should probably use that Catcher just to knock out that Pyroar just before it gets powered up. No, it looks like the card in the back was Professor Juniper. So no matter what, this active Pyroar cannot get powered up this turn. We are going to see a Fire Energy. Oh, she has a switch. That's game. Put some Fire Energy on the bench Pyroar and use a switch. then uses Scorching Fang even for 80, and she wins. She put down the roller skates, and she realized, wait, no, I have to switch. I'm just going to switch, and Scorching Fang, and that will be the game. She just took her last 2 prizes. And good job, Steph. We just saw a girl win a match. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the awesomeness that is the Pokemon trading card game. So I'll have a few more battle videos up over the next week or so. I hope that you all stay tuned for all of them. And hopefully you enjoy this Pyroar mirror match. This is Skull TCG. Stay tuned for more.